may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
Okay guys, I understand the people who've been watching this channel for a while now are going to get annoyed that I'm saying this because we say this very often. But the reason I'm doing so is, this channel is blowing up. We are getting so many new listeners every single day. I think we just passed 400 subscribers and we are getting, 1,100 unique viewers a day at this point. And that is literally like triple of what we had last week. So we have a ton of people watching the channel now that haven't seen this announcement, so I have to make it. Okay guys, whatever I say in any video going forward, if you do not agree with it, if you think I am wrong, please do not bite your tongue. Do not think you're going to hurt my feelings. I understand that a lot of quote-unquote fantasy analysts, fantasy experts, or whatever, they get their feelings hurt if you say something bad about them in the comment section, where I know I'm not a fantasy expert. I'm just someone coming out here giving y'all my opinion, hoping that it helps a little bit. And a lot of y'all watching right now, your opinion is worth just as much as mine, if not more. So please, if I say anything that you don't agree with or you think that you have a better viewpoint on it, please go down to the comment section and let me and everybody else watching the video know. And real quick, I want to give a massive shout out to an advertisement on this channel. I know that y'all have seen us for a very long time now doing no ads, but I'm just excited to announce that Thrive Fantasy has decided to give us a $1,000 free roll for anybody who decides to go and sign up on their website with the promo code FLOCK. And now guys, please take advantage. They're literally just trying to beg y'all to become new users on the website. So if you go over there, maybe you just go there for a week, maybe go there for 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. But if you go there right now and use promo code FLOCK, you'll get entered into that $1,000 free roll. But that's it. Let's dive into this video. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about our top 3 favorite pitcher targets, regardless of if this is through trade, if you've already had your drafts, or maybe you haven't had your fantasy baseball draft yet. Don't know why that hasn't happened with opening day right now. But anyway, let's dive into it. And let's start it off with a pitcher that we have talked a ton about, Max Scherzer. And I know y'all are tired of hearing this, but like I said, guys, we have a ton of new listeners on the channel. So if y'all don't know how much I love Max, we're going to have to talk about it here. So Max is currently going at the beginning of the 3rd round in 12-team leagues at the ADP of 25 overall. He's going as the 9th pitcher off the board. And yes, we all understand that he has been someone that has been elite through his major league career. We have seen the peak seasons. We know exactly what value has been provided. But the reason he is seeing this dip in value right now is because he's 36 years old. Max is coming on the tail end of his career right now. And 2020 was a down season for Scherzer. But what we can understand here is we can understand, hey, 2020 was a small sample. 2020 was a season that a lot of these players didn't even know that they were going to be playing. Because if y'all just think about what happened back then. COVID was brand new. Nobody really knew what it was. And Major League Baseball really wasn't going so well with how many games they were going to be playing, when they were going to start playing. It was a massive mess. So we have said this so many times before, but because of all the weird variables, because of the small sample size, 2020 is something that I'm wanting to look to avoid. So if we go to Max and we look at his recent seasons, we go to his age 34 year in 2019. He pitched 172 total innings. He had an ERA just under 3. ERA not too important to look at though. I prefer looking at WHIP and strikeouts per inning, where he was straight up elite. His WHIP was down there at 1.0 and his strikeouts per inning. And this is going to be so important because you need to know your league settings. You need to know what kind of targets you're going to be looking at. He had 1.4 strikeouts per inning. Now, this is an elite number. Obviously, this is the best of the best. And I know a lot of people are going, yeah, Mason, just because he had that in 2019 doesn't mean he can continue that. That was 2 years ago. And in 2020, he had a little bit of a down year. And yes, that's true. You go to 2020, first off, extremely weird, so I don't even want to be taking too much away from it. But there, he only pitched 67 innings. He had an ERA of 3.74, a WHIP, this is embarrassing, up there close to 1.4. But the bright side of this is the strikeouts per inning was still elite. It was still at the very top of the league, where he had 1.37 strikeouts per inning. So yes, maybe you look at his season as a small fall off with what he was doing with his WHIP and ERA. But specifically if you are playing in a points league. If you're playing in a head-to-head points league where strikeouts matter so much, this is going to be possibly the best pick in the third round. I'd be willing to take him at that late second in that type of format. And another thing that we like to do is we like to come out here and admit, hey, I don't know what I'm doing all the time. There are way smarter people than me with fantasy baseball. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to go to a site called RotoChamp, when what they do is they look across projections from a ton of different fantasy baseball sites, and they put it all together with kind of like a projections ADP. Y'all know we use this all the time on the videos. I haven't spoken to anybody from there. This is not an ad. I'm not getting paid anything to say this. I just really like the tool. And here they have him projected for 180 total innings pitched, a 3.35 ERA, a 1.10 WHIP, and 1.3 strikeouts per inning. So we go, okay, they have him projected for a similar WHIP to what he saw back in 2019. A little bit worse because we know a player is going to regress to the mean. And to go along with this, they have him kind of with an ERA between the two seasons that he had in 2019 and 2020. But what is most important here is they still have him for that very high strikeout rate. They still have him for 1.3 strikeouts per inning. And that's why I'm going to be wanting to target him at the end of the third, even though he is getting to the end of his career. Okay, so now let's go over to another pitcher that we've talked about. Michael put us on him saying, hey, Mason, this is one of my guys. This is someone that we are looking to target at his ADP. And this is going to be Steven Strasburg, who's coming back from carpal tunnel. He also has a couple other nagging injuries that he's dealing with. But because of this, you're getting a massive discount on him. He's going at 69 overall as the 22nd pitcher off the board. And I know with Steven Strasburg, it seems like he is unbelievably old. I mean, it seems like I was talking about him when I was 10 years old. But he is still only 32. And if we go to his last season that we had, it was 2019, where he pitched over 200 innings. He had an elite whip to go along with this with 1.04. His ERA was at 3.32. And the one bad thing a little bit is his strikeouts per inning ratio. It was like a career low for him down there at 1.20. You don't necessarily like to see that. You would rather see that a little bit higher, but he's going as the 22nd pitcher overall. You're not going to be expecting someone like Trevor Bauer out here with Steven Strasburg. And I will say, yes, a lot of people are worried about the injuries. There is downside. But you go and saw that he's pitching in spring training. He is ready to go at the very beginning of the year by all reports. So what are we talking about here? You're worried about the risk of re-injury? Is that what we are talking about? And right now, if we go over to the projections from RotoChamp, they have him with 170 innings pitched, a whip at 1.19, a strikeouts per inning ratio at 1.11, and an ERA at 3.65. So if you look across his entire career, this is the lowest strikeout per inning ratio that he has ever had. This is one of the highest whips that he has ever had through a full season at the same time. So RotoChamp is projecting him to have the worst year of his career. I understand that the nagging injuries are a concern, but I think that this is going to be a little bit of a boom or bust pick. If you get it right here, this could be something you look back at and you could go, hey, this was a league-winning selection. This is what pushed me over the top. And specifically, when we are going to be targeting Strasburg is a team that maybe we're trying to draft him as our third pitcher off the board. Maybe we decided to go with some pitchers early and we go, hey, here's some value. Let's take him in the 6th, 7th round, just because if he's our third pitcher on our roster and he comes through with a 2019 type season, then you won the league. Congrats. And if he's your third pitcher on your roster and really he never gets it going, one of his worst years in his career, maybe we see a risk of re-injury, then you're like, hey, yes, it hurts. We wish we would have spent that pick on a hitter, but at the end of the day, it's not going to completely tank our year. Okay, so now let's go over to another pitcher that we have talked about over and over and over and over again. Let's talk about the ace for the White Sox. Let's get him up here, going as the 6th pitcher off the board, 17th overall. And here, I don't know why we have to talk about him so much. I mean, Lucas not only was fantastic in spring training this year, and I know spring training really doesn't mean a lot. So many people have told me that, and we've always said that spring training doesn't mean everything. Very small sample size where players are kind of working on one aspect of their game. But if we go back over the past 2 years, I mean, he's only 26 years old, so his age 24 season was in 2019. And here, elite numbers. 176 innings pitched, 1.30 strikeouts per inning, a whip down there at 1.06, and a 3.41 ERA. So you're looking at his ADP going in the mid-second, where in that range, I really don't like a lot of players. I mean, Bryce Harper is in that range. Manny Machado is going a little bit after that. Really hate those hitters. I think Lucas is by far and away the best player. I mean, I would be very surprised if he was around in the late second round and there would ever be a world that I did not select him. I mean, in 2020, he maintained these very great numbers that he had from 2019 with the 72 innings pitched, a 1.34 strikeout per inning ratio, a 1.04 whip, and a 3.48 ERA. So everything is lining up for Lucas to have a fantastic season. You also go to his projections in 2021, 178 innings pitched, a 1.22 strikeout per inning ratio, a 1.16 whip, and a 3.64 ERA. Now, I know that usually we see these pitchers regress to the mean a little bit, but still, I don't even know with that if we can be too confident in these projections because they're projecting him to take a step back from both of his previous years. Yet, he is going into the prime of his career. He's going into his age 26 season. So I think we have to be excited, and if you can get him at the late second, you do that. I mean, can you imagine getting Fernando Tatis at the beginning of the first round, then following it up with Lucas Giolito at the end of the second, then Max Scherzer at the beginning of the third? I mean, that is something that you could get very, very, very excited about. And if I'm drafting in the early first, that's going to be something I'm implementing often. Now, thank you guys. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. I really hope y'all got something from it. As always, go down there, drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, that's all I got for y'all. Have a great day.